Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 7 p.m. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of business this evening is announcements. By way of announcements, Monday, the 14th is a federal holiday. We will observe that. The town's services, other than obviously public, will be secured that day. Wednesday, the 16th, Wednesday of next week, is the commencement of voting. And so if that's you're about, that's your first opportunity to do that. I'd also like to mention that the community survey is out. It's available online at the website, and it's for 55 years of age and older. If a person wishes to be assisted in that, they can go to the Brownell Library where school Chromebooks have been provided for schooling on how to use the Survey Monkey survey tool is available for you at that place. So everyone who is in that category of 55 and older is encouraged to be part of that and to get your survey posted. The last date, I think, is the
29, I want to say. I'd be wrong with that.
There is a date by which one needs to have finished that.
I remember, Gary. I don't remember.
Let's see. The 21st, Monday, the 21st is the last day in which that senior survey can be registered. Any other announcements that need to be made?
Just like to make one that we should, I don't even know how to do it, if it's a moment of silence or not, for the people in Florida, what they're going through. I've got a real life experience. My son had to be evacuated with his 4 kids. And so they're getting hit by the second hurricane in almost the same spot.
Hurricane Milton following on Helene.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that at the end of this announcement section. Is there any other announcement that needs to be made? All right, I'd ask that we then observe a moment of silence, remembrance of those who have lost lives, property, etc., in the 2 successive hurricanes in the Southeast. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And the next item of business is approval of the minutes of September 19th.
Motion to approve the minutes as written unless somebody wants to pull something.
Second. Discussion on that. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thanks. The next is the department head reports. We have reports from the clerk, the building official, the tax assessor, the fire chief, and the administrator.
Motion to approve all the department head reports unless somebody wants to pull something from any particular report.
I'd like a second to the motion.
Second.
Are there discussions or is there clarification that anyone would like to have?
Tony, would you like to pull something here? I know there's some documents you put here. There's something you want to talk to us about? I want to check with the audio.
It's something I want to talk about.
Can I check with the audio? Are we audio? Good. Everyone here is okay? Online?
Yeah. Can't hear Paul. Can't hear Paul.
Can't hear Paul.
I have a tendency of talking soft.
I do have that, sorry.
I don't think our microphones are the best, so I wouldn't say move yours over a little bit. Gary's over to his right.
All there is.
That's all there is, yeah.
They didn't want to hear me anyway.
They reach up to hang on. May go ding in your ears. No, it didn't. Okay. Try speaking now, Paul.
Well, let's test you out.
Hello, test. Can you hear me now?
I know you're not speaking to. All right.
I think what Gary and I may want to talk about is, on the last, item on the first page, Christine Shea, architect. And are there some supporting documents here that we have?
That's correct. Those for your information, not for decision making, since it's not really an item for action. We review and so that is you confer that we went into any of that we would bring it up to the next.
You want to tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah.
The town manager speak at the podium. I can't hear the backside.
Can't hear the backside.
It's okay. It's just, I'm not trying to get right. I'm very interested in this. But if I can't hear you, I can't hear you.
Yes, I had asked, or we asked, the town had asked, there's been a lot of discussion about 32 comments. And I thought it would be important for us to do a feasibility study of the building. So I reached out to the architect, Christine Shea, and her firm provided a number for us for both buildings, not just for 32 comments, as well as for the DPW building. And the number that came back to us was $80,075. That was the amount that was for both buildings. Something that, if the council would like to entertain that at a future date, further discussion on that. And the other item is for us to move a little faster with the stairs, get things going. I mean, we've already checked off a few boxes, but I thought it was important that we check the next one, but we needed an architectural design or drawing for the stairs. And I asked Christine to supply what would it cost to do that. And the number was a little shocking. It was $11,990, to provide the information. Although it's not just the sketch, would also be getting it ready to go out for P as well. But regardless, I think we can do better than that.
So, as you all know, I've been trying to get the Grange available for the senior citizens to have a meeting area. Then I thought it was going through. Bob and Angela Denham and I met down there. It looked like it was going to be good. She was happy with it. And then we had the fire report on it. We had quite a few deficiencies. So a couple of meetings ago, I said, can we start picking away at this instead of trying to go out at one whole shot? And Bob had the maintenance guys move some of the stuff that was in the boiler room out. I talked to the new DPW director. He's going to go over there and he's going to try to check off some of these things on the list, because we got to go in front of the state fire marshal to get an extension on it. I think it's a good idea to have some of these things done and say, yeah, we're working on it, instead of just going up there and nothing done and say, we don't care. That's not the right attitude to have. So I asked a contractor's houses for me to go down and look at the stairs. And he came back. I said, just look at the ones leading up to the door, because those are the ones that are a problem. That he could do it, labor and all pressure treated materials, and put it back the same way it was, but be up to what the code is now for less than $5,000. So if you double that for both stairs, it'd be 10 grand. And Tony's been very helpful with me on this. So that's when he reached out to this engineering firm and put this on a fast track. Well, I was kind of shocked too to see that just to engineer it, to put the stairs in, is $12,000. When I got an estimate from a guy who actually replaced the stairs and new ones, 1,000. So I'm not sure how you want to go about this. I don't see why and have the building official just put something together that these stairs got to be put back together just the way they are. Hold on, Sal. Just the way they are. To be historically the way they are. I know the handrails aren't up to code, so everything's got to be up to code. A few of the local guys bid on it and get this done, because I spoke to Bob about it and he said, well, what's the hurry? The hurry is just like outside with the cement stairs. Where are the rails for them? This building's been done since April. The rails aren't there. I'm just trying to move things along. So, if we can get some help from some of the town guys, just to put a diagram together, this is what we need, instead of all these other minutiae. From this engineering firm, I'm assuming they think that's exactly what we need, okay? But I just can't see spending $12,000 for a design to build a set of stairs. I mean, it's No plumbing, no electric, no nothing. So I don't know how you want to go about it, but I'd like to get those stairs fixed because they're supposed to be in pretty bad shape, and they are. The contractor said, yes, they are. They can be used, but they shouldn't be used. So we're aware of that. So if somebody uses it and they get hurt somehow, then we're liable for it. So I'm just trying to not to try to do anything that I shouldn't be doing, but just trying to get things done a little bit quicker.
So,
So, go ahead.
so 32 Commons is the Grange, so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Oddfellows, right?
Oddfellows, the Grange, not the Grange, Oddfellows, okay. Oddfellows Hall.
Yes, it is.
It has another name too, doesn't it?
It's where the Grange meets. It is not considered the Grange Hall. The Grange Hall is the building right next to us that is leased to the community center.
Okay, so 32 Commons is the Oddfellows Hall, like I said first, right? And it's $11,900 to do the engineering. This is what these folks have.
That's what they propose, right?
I just asked the solicitor a quick, I don't know the answer to it. Do you have to go out for engineering for a historic building or, you know, hey, let's have some local guys do this? Is there any stipulation for that?
This is interior?
Exterior.
This is exterior?
Yes.
No. That was a no.
I heard you.
But we
I'm proud.
contract with a contractor to do stairs.
There are no requirements to historic buildings to be engineered. So long as, it's accurate.
And just quickly, let's just shoot back to this other document you have here. It has the $80,000. What is the 13,775 on the back page? That included $80,000.
For the, yes, it is, and, yes, it is.
Okay, and that's for what building? Just to be clear?
That's for 32 Commons. Actually, no, this is for both. I'm sorry, I'll take that back.
For the Grange,
This is to cover both the Grange and the
number on the,
W garage,
the number on the Grange is
32.
32 too?
Oh, no, the amount, no, I don't know.
4.
Range is 34,
34 is the Grange.
2.
Just so we can get it once on tape here, 34 is the Grange, 32 is Oddfellows Hall.
But you didn't ask for anything on the actual.
Grange and the Oddfellows meet in the same hall, but the building is independent order of Oddfellows historically, even though the Grange meets there.
Yeah, but what we're looking,
Same number.
well, I think the confusion is.
Still the same, so not 34. I'll strike that.
34 is the community center. 34 is the community center.
Yeah.
32 is the one that is the Oddfellow Hall.
Yeah,
Former police station.
yeah,
The one next to it is 30 Commons, which is the old fire station.
Right.
What did she give you quotes on?
So you give me a quote for both buildings.
Which both buildings?
30, the DPW building, the 30 and 32.
Okay, so 30 and 32. We're not talking about 34 at all.
No,
30 and 32.
no. And if I may, as far as the railings for the front stairs, they should be installed this Saturday.
Okay, great.
So this $80,000, so everyone's clear, is for engineering for building at the transfer station. Is that what this is what I'm looking at here?
Oh, it's not the fire station down here.
Okay,
No,
so it's for okay,
this is just to do a feasibility study of the two buildings,
2 buildings, okay.
the 30 and 32 Commons.
30 and 32 Commons.
Right.
And the stairs is 11,000 and change.
Correct. That's right. That's separate.
Make that clear. I knew it. So now everyone else does.
Or no, sir.
I think you'll be able to hear me.
You face me.
The stairs can be replaced without an engineering study. But it's not necessarily that you replace them in kind, because they gotta meet the new codes. So I suggest we get together with the building official and come up with what's required for the rails, and what's required for the rise and the step of the stairs. Okay, so then you can replace them with contractor by putting up an RFP with a detail on the stairs. You don't need an engineering study to build stairs. as long as they're built to code. As far as the stairs that are there now, they don't meet the code. So if they're replaced in kind and something happens, we'd still be liable.
Well, that's what I was alluding to, that
Yeah,
the stairs are going to be basically same dimension, but they're going to be up to whatever the standard code is right now.
right. So you're saying the same dimension out to the same area?
Unless
Yeah.
that has to be changed by code, in which
Yeah.
the building official knows the code. We've got some right in-house.
So they come up with what's required and do the stairs.
We've got somebody right in-house that can say, okay, I went down, looked at them. They're this long, they're this wide. This is what's got to be done on the new ones to bring them to code. It's got to have this kind of handrail. It's got to have this kind of step up. It's got to have these kind of mounts in the ground,
Exactly.
posts going up and down. I don't think that that's a hard job. And I don't think we need to pay $12,000 for somebody else from out of town or somebody from somewhere else to do it when we got somebody in-house. I mean, would you be willing to look into that with the building official? I mean, you're,
Sure,
okay,
sure, gladly.
thank you.
If I may,
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll stand and be loud because it's my natural ability. So isn't it a requirement for us to at least go out for an RFP and get 3 bids?
It depends upon the dollar value of the project, yes, but there is a requirement to do so.
And what is that dollar value?
I don't know yet. I've got to look and make sure.
Well, local is 5,000, state is 10,000, but we kept it at 5.
Thank you very much. So then we would need to go out for 3 bids anyway.
And they stated that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. That was the plan all along. When I talked to Tony, he was going to talk to the building official. They thought that they could come up with something, ask a few of the contractors what they thought it would cost to do that, but the proper way to do it is have the building official and Sal come up with something and then put that out for an RFP and see what the bids come back at.
if I, excuse me, that just so we know, it's not, the requirement is to advertise for the bids. You don't have to get a minimum of 3 bids required. It could just be 1. But
you have to have-
a requirement for 3 bids.
Thank you.
if I may, in terms of getting the building official to draft this, who's going to inspect? He's going to have to inspect the job. So that would be a conflict of having him draft something, to then say, okay, I'm going to inspect
State inspector will inspect it. If he requests it, the state inspector will come in and inspect it.
I'm not so sure we want to get into that, going forward, that we will enlist him to do the drafting.
Well, what would your thought be, Tony?
I would say we can do better than the 11,000. I agree 100% with you. Dean and I have discussed that. He says, I still need to have an architectural draft. Doesn't have to be to this level, but he needs to have something that shows the compliance, the height and so forth. That all needs to be done, the railings, so we can avoid some of the issues we had previously.
Can the architect we've been using previously,
Who, I'm sorry?
Melissa?
Right. Well, that's the person I reached out to find out if she could do it. And it certainly will be a lot less than this.
You're gonna need a set of drawings.
Please.
You're gonna need a set of drawings no matter what. You're gonna need a set of drawings,
Mhm.
something to scale. So whoever, if you're gonna get people to bid on it, they gotta know what they're bidding on.
That's correct.
So it sounds like the process going forward is to take what we have right now, have our building official assist with the assistance of the Director of Public Works to create a bid package, if you will, that we can send out for bids. Is that where we're going?
Once we get it designed, yes.
Right.
And
Who's going?
I've already reached out to Melissa to get it moving, because obviously I knew that this was not what we wanted to go with.
Okay. Any other comments on the reports, including that of the town administrator? I'll seek a motion to place these reports on file. All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Thank you.
So with what you just said, are you directing town administrator to have the building official and the DPW director come up with some kind of an RFP to put out?
You can't take action tonight. It's not on the
Okay.
agenda.
I've summarized the direction that we're going to, I believe that will achieve the objective that you have described, Councilman.
Thank you.
The next item of business is old business. It is to receive and review a recommended FY 25 paving program from our highway engineering company, which is Beta Engineering. Mr. Kevin Aguirre of Beta Engineering will present this program to us. Just recall, this was a decision that has been made some time back by this council as to which roads in town will be part of that process. And that's what we're going to be looking at here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Again, Kevin Aguirre from the Beta Group. Yes, I do want to give you an update on paving program that we're going to be putting out in just after the first of the year. Touch base on the schedule, but they are looking to pave 5 roads. Quick overview is, we jump into it, is John Sisson Road, Amy Hart Path, Taylor's Lane, Town Way, and John Dyer Road are the roads that we'll be putting out we could go to the first slide, just to highlight an overview.
It worked early. I told you I was.
Yeah, I know you're having a little technical difficulties. It's the same presentation that you have in front of you in your packet.
Sorry.
Okay.
This was not happy earlier and it's not happy again. Oh,
Okay. The first road is John Sisson Road. It's approximately 2,500 feet. It's highlighted there in yellow. It extends from South Shore Road to Long Highway. It's predominantly a mill and overlay project with some sections of full depth repair. Along the project, there'll be some cleaning and flushing of the drainage pipes and replacement of any failed drainage pipes that are typically underneath the driveways. The next road, if anybody has questions, you feel free to stop me if you have a specific question, but
I have a question for the first.
Okay.
You said cleaning of the culverts. Have you investigated any of the culverts? Do you know if you're going to replace any of them?
As part of the project, we've gone through and inspected what we're calling the clean and flush, and then in some cases, some are going to be replaced.
Okay.
And those are called out on the plan
So
specifically.
it won't be an additional cost?
No.
Okay.
The only thing that would be an additional cost is if something was unforeseen, like once we're out in construction. But we have on the actual design plans, there are specific locations throughout each of the roads that call for replacement of pipes. The next one is Amy Hart Path.
So I'd like to interject one thing right now because Amy Hart Path, North Colebrook Road, Town Council has been requested to upgrade that road. And that road is all over the place. So I want everybody to understand this is Amy Hart Path to the south. Okay, the road going from Colebrook Road to the transfer station. Amy Hart Path to the north.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that is absolutely correct, that this is the section that's known as the road to the transfer station. It's approximately 745 feet. This road is in some rough shape. This will be a full reconstruction of the pavement, removal of the existing asphalt. When I say full reconstruction, it's removal of the existing asphalt, regrade the sub base, and then asphalt on top. And we'll be looking at the drainage pipes as part of this project as well.
Those who have been here longer than I, because a number of you may have something to add to this. My sense is this is the first time we've done a full depth repair on any hard south. So this represents an effort to try to deal with those issues that people have brought forward to us, that when they exit the transfer station, they have difficulty passing the vehicle coming in, all those kinds of things. So that's what this is seeking. Thanks.
No more bumps on the way to the dump. All right, good note.
It's okay. It's okay to have a little fun. And the next road is Taylor's Lane. This one's approximately 3,200 feet. Extends from West Main Road down to the water. This one is essentially mostly a mill and overlay with a little bit of a full depth repair. Again, we'll be cleaning and flushing the drain lines. And the mill and overlay is just when they come in and they'll fill off the top 1.5 inches and then put a new asphalt. When it's a full depth, when we're a full depth, that's when we remove the old asphalt and we'll put down 2.5 inch binder and then 1.5 inch surface. So you'd end up with, 4 inches of pavement on the roads. That's how we did Maple Ave a few years ago.
Right. This interfaces with the additional Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank project.
That's town.
Help us with.
This one, you got to.
Townway is the MRP, remind me of that acronym.
Municipal resiliency.
Yeah.
Municipal Resiliency Program, thank you. This was an addendum to that in the sense that the infrastructure bank says, we're anxious to help you with other such stormwater related things. And I believe that we have some funding available to the town that we can use in what Kevin describes here, the replacement of failed and compromised drain pipes at driveways. So we have some ability to add to the town resources with infrastructure bank grant resources, in which we have a match requirement, but do that.
Yes, that's correct. Sorry. Next one is Taylor's Townway. Townway is also from West Main Road to, and this one is a combination. There's some mill and overlay, but there's also about a third of the road is going to be considered for that full depth, and that's at the top of the road and then down at the bottom of the primary areas where it's in really bad shape. But this is also one that you do have the added funding for the lower piece. There'll be some specific drainage improvements that the town received funding for. That's all being incorporated into this project.
The project. Thank you.
Does that include the public property and head walls remain supplemental?
So that was part of the infrastructure bank project. I believe those are being replaced. But there was actually another consultant. We have both sets of plans. It'll be bid as one bid package, and we're just that will be included.
Okay.
Some interest down there, Sal, do you?
Please?
Got some interest down there, do you, Sal?
Yeah, it was like maybe.
The bump. And probably the largest road that's going to be done is John Dyer Road. This is the one that's about 11,000 feet. Predominantly mill and overlay. It at the north end of the road, top of the hill down, there'll be some drainage improvements. We'll be regrading the existing swales that are on either side of the road to help get the stormwater off the road, those grass swales down to the catch basins that are on Colebrook Road. Those are the state drainage system. At the southern end is where last spring we were here before you, the culvert failure. So that culvert project, the culvert replacement was added into this project. We've now got that all set for a full replacement of the box culvert, southern end of John Dyer Road. There's a stone culvert, replacing that with a new precast concrete culvert. And again, we'll be all along the road, we'll be cleaning and flushing drain pipes, replacing drainage. And there's a few problem spots along the road where we've got some ponding at driveways that we're trying to relieve as part of the project.
Now, you know what the truck actually on the way for us. You had mentioned in the training on the two-thirds going east of Conway, West Main and Oliver Lane. Is there any swale work being done?
There are some existing swales that are there now they'll be cleaned up, regraded as part of the project. It's typical when we do the roads, if the swales that are on the side of the road, if they need to be restored, those will be cleaned up. The infrastructure bank is a little separate piece where they're actually doing some water quality work. But the drainage swales will be looking at the culverts, cleaning and flushing and graded properly.
Thank you.
Kevin, on John Dyer Road, and I we spoke before and we walked the interface with the state.
I have, I thought that, I can reach out to the, maintenance division. I believe the maintenance division was initially going to be looking at those basins because I don't know if it was, I don't think the DPW director, reached out. I think it was just a communication issue there. It may have been on my part where we need to reach out to the state, because there was some issues with the drains on Holbrook, that's part of the DOT system.
So when we walked the site, I think we took pictures and then video that it wasn't even going in it. There was 3 of them down there that weren't working.
Yes, there's definitely some issues with where it was bypassing or the systems may just need to be cleaned out. The water was just not even getting into the catch basins.
And on the south side, when you replace the failed culvert, do you need it to be dry? There's a lot of water there, going down the hill on the left.
Yeah.
Is that how much water can you have there when you're fixing it?
So what'll typically happen is they'll set up a diversion, they'll sandbag and probably pump the water. Fortunately, it is a significant culvert. It's 2x6, but that's manageable for the contractors to actually set up a bypass and bypass. Well, the way we're looking to work and timing is really everything here. We're gonna advertise this right after the first of the year so we can maximize our opportunity to get this in front of contractors before they start, lining up their work for the year. We envision that notice to proceed contractors should be ready to go in March and April, which is also the wet season.
Yeah, I was going to say, John Dyer Road's scheduled for
The wet season. So what we'll have to do is obviously we want to sequence it so that the culvert gets done up initially because that's probably the longest element of the project. But we envision that the contractor can work concurrently on the other roads. But at John Dyer, really going to be depending on if it's a wet spring, he's going to have to wait until the flows are manageable. But there's no time of year restriction for us to go in and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just a situation of finding about a week, a window of about a week to get in and install that culvert.
Thank you.
We there's the town pushing to have one contractor for all 4 projects.
Yes, this will go out as one bid package.
That's our intent, yes.
One bid package. And these are, for this type of work, that's manageable for a contractor to come in and get this done. We're estimating about 12 to 15 weeks.
Let's say a day or a night project.
The last time we would be day, we would anticipate doing the work during the day. Our intent, actually, if you just jump to the last slide was a schedule, I think. Schedule where we're looking to make sure that we can have this, allow the contractors to get the maximum amount of opportunity in the spring, to get out there in March, April, May, June. We're envisioning that this is done before the 4th of July and the summer season. That would be the plan.
Have you loaded this with labor?
This with labor? What do you
The
mean?
CPM schedule usually loaded with labor so that
No, this is,
know what the contractor's size has to be before he can bid.
no, we've done enough of these where we don't necessarily dictate the labor, dictate the schedule and say this needs to be completed and it's really going to be up to the contractor. He might have multiple crews. What we do try to do, and this was a very busy paving year. You saw a lot of activity going on. You saw a lot of activity going on so it's really initially we were thinking that we were going to get this project out in the fall, but in hindsight, it's better that we're waiting and issuing this right after the first of the year. The contractors wouldn't have been able to get out here this fall. You had all your major roads were tied up. But what we'll do here is we'll issue the milestone dates and say that it has to be done. It'll be up to the contractor to staff it accordingly. But one of the things that we look at when we put the road projects out is that if they remove the pavement from a road, they have typically 5 to 10 business days to get the pavement back down on the road. So
That's a very simple schedule. So it worries me because he's going to be in 4 different places in the town. And as the chief just asked, that's going to be during the day. And it's going to run into when people are coming back into Little Compton on our roads. And that schedule is very simple for a project with 4 different areas. That's why I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern. But we've put these out in several other municipalities. We do a lot of road paving projects. And the key is really when we have the requirement that they cannot leave the roads unpaved. So the mill and overlay, you can drive on that surface, but still we want them to have the pavement back down. So again, you don't want 4 roads, 5 roads ripped up in town for 2 months. People can withstand 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you start to get 4, 5, 6 weeks, that becomes really more of a nuisance.
To characterize it in contrast to what we're finishing up here with the state, we're not tying up major arteries. We're talking John Dyer Road. Obviously, the residents of John Dyer Road are affected, but there are alternatives. Long Highway can get you the same direction. John Sisson, in a similar sense, Amy Hart Path, Taylor's Lane and Town Way, again, affect those residents, but they're not thoroughfares going somewhere else. That's not to minimize the requirement for details and that sort of thing. That's certainly there. But I don't see this as having the spectrum of issues that are associated with a round-the-clock effort as we had with Simmons, Commons, Main Road.
That's
All right.
really an overview of the program looking forward, first of the year, advertising this and getting it underway and complete by July.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's an aggressive schedule, but we feel it's manageable.
Very well laid out.
We continue to receive, the council does, compliments on the Maple Avenue effort. And I think that we're looking forward to a similar kind of outcome here and appreciate your work.
And this project is also, this project is also funded with the municipal road and bridge program. So the town will be getting a reimbursement for this.
Right. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Any other questions?
Very briefly, Mr. President, on the Chennai Road, the issue that Councilman McHugh brought up. Okay, I'll just say. Okay, the John Dyer, the issue that was brought up, I suggest that Kevin, myself, and the Director of Public Works, the gentleman, meet at the site and assess the situation. To do that.
Thank you. Any other items on that? All right, we'll move to the next item of business. Thank you, sir, for your comprehensive report. I request a motion to authorize the town clerk to advertise to hear applications received for the renewal of retail beverage licenses during a hearing to be held on November 7th, 2024 for the 24-25 license period.
So moved. Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Is there discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is to receive a recommendation for a proposed amendment to Chapter 9 of the Little Compton Town Code, Section 9-4.3, regarding parking at the town dock lot. You have in your package a proposed new language. I would suggest a minor modification to that we consider this evening, just to put in play what has to happen. We need to agree on what that language ought to be. Then we need to proceed to a public hearing in which that is acknowledged by the public. This has had the input of the clerk, the police chief, and the harbor chair, is my sense. I'll give them an opportunity to speak. The change that I would suggest we make is that in subparagraph B, with the exception of vehicles displaying a lot permit, instead of the word hang tag, use the words issued by the town clerk. So it would be with the exception of vehicles displaying a lot permit issued by the town clerk, no person shall use or occupy the parking areas between 11 a.m. That would be my suggestion. That said, please, any that are involved or any of the counselors, bring forward any other comments you would have.
And who can get a permit?
Fisherman.
That doesn't have to be in the ordinance.
That's what this is for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to go out to a public hearing.
And this has nothing to do with the road. This is just the parking lot.
Right.
Right. I'm sorry, by my summary, I didn't cite paragraph A, which is the parking of vehicles in the parking area shall be restricted to the owners of commercial fishing vessels and their employees and to persons intending to make recreational use of the harbor and its environs.
That's existing now.
That is existing.
Right. I'm just saying that's the context in which this is being proposed, that there will be a lot permit issued by the town clerk, which would identify a person who meets one of those paragraph A requirements. Yeah, harbor chair.
I guess Chief Rains and Clerk Wardell met on it, and I met on this. The only change I would like to make to the language is the words in accordance with posted signs. I think that really does belong at the end of A instead of at the end of B.
With the exception of vehicles displaying a lot, no person occupied daily, period. And then make recreational use of the harbor and its environs in accordance with posted signs.
Right. Because I think that, the A introduces the fact that we're trying to make an enforceable lot. Chief Rains will be doing the details of where the signs actually are. We generated a cartoon in his office that I think satisfies the public access requirements as well as respects the needs of the fishermen to make a living. But it's really paragraph A that is the one that's reminding everyone that the signs are always going to be there as guidance. And we can fine tune that, as is put in practice and as needs be, according to how the police department sees the public reacting to the new implementation. But I think I think these changes will, make a dramatic. Harbor Commission is a little concerned that, the burden will be on the commercial fleet to actually display the permits that the clerk's office issues. And some of the crews, are driving different vehicles from time to time. Did I forget the tag and all? So there will be a burden on them. But I think the chief, working with us has really given the town an enforceable way to accommodate, what at least is 34 individuals that if they actually had a concurrent effort on a given day would completely overwhelm the lot just with the commercial users themselves. So there's really a need to make some space for them. The fishing on the breakwater, the private fishing on the breakwater and the, people just parking willy-nilly in that lot to fish on the breakwater has gotten just completely out of hand. So I think the solution the chief is offering to make an enforceable lot is, probably as good as we could do with anything that involves people. So
How might a person in that second category intending to make recreational use of the harbor and its environs would present him or herself to the town clerk saying, I am such a.
now in the cartoon we generated in the chief's office, along the stone wall that's at the western edge of the parking lot, there would be signs for head-in parking that would give 7 or 8 spaces there. That'll be visitor parking. So it'll be clearly marked visitor parking along that length of.
Understand. So that's, for that reason, you propose that this phrase, in accordance with posted signs, be incorporated into subparagraph.
Right, because then it's all in the chief's hands to how to actually manage the details of execution.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry to disagree, but if you take a look at the ordinance structure, paragraph 1 is restricted to commercial fishermen. Subsection B is, with the exception of those, you need to have the tag. That would be in accordance with the signs.
Okay.
I recommend it state B instead of A. It makes more logical sense there.
So in accordance with posted signs stays in B.
I keep it in B.
Okay.
Okay.
Where Carol put it.
Where I had to go.
That was luck.
I just want to know whether or not I need a clarifier. Bob suggests changing hang tag to being issued by the town clerk, which is how we are envisioning the tags or the permits are going to get to the fishermen. But that's supposed to be based on a list that the Harbor Commission gives me.
Right.
So what do we need in this ordinance to clarify that I'm not willy-nilly just giving out permits?
Good point.
I think it mentions that where it says owner of commercial fishing vessels, so the captain of the boat would be responsible to obtain as many permits as necessary for him and his crew.
I guess that if I may, I think the way I take Carol's point is we want to make it clear to anyone reading the ordinance that there is a process in place where the harbor master and the Harbor Commission are generating and maintaining the list of people who are qualified for a hang tag. We provide that list to the clerk's office, and the issuance is through the clerk's office. But do we need, I guess the question is, do we need a section C in the ordinance that says the development of a list of qualified commercial permit holders will be provided to the clerk's office by the harbor master in conjunction with the Harbor Commission? Something like that.
It could be a phrase also appended by
Well,
proposed change.
with the risk of creating a run-on sentence.
Right.
Just issued by the town clerk from a list of eligible persons provided by the Harbor Commission.
The fact that you and I are thinking in the same way about this issue is dangerous in its possibilities, but I think I agree. I think that's how it is. So that would change paragraph B to read something like this: with the exception of vehicles displaying a lot permit issued by the town clerk in accordance with the list provided from the Harbor Commission or from the harbor master.
Harbor master, I think, is the
Harbor master of commercial fishing vessels, blah, blah, blah. Now, remember, the purpose of bringing this forward was not to approve it, but rather to propose it for language to be put before a public hearing. So that's really what we're doing, is changing or modifying or tuning the language. This, send it to a public hearing. Are there any other changes that?
So you want to bring this back to the council with a cleaned up version? Do you think we should just make a motion to hold a public hearing on it?
I'll ask the clerk, what do you think that I think
we can.
clear enough.
It's clear enough and we can draft it and not a zoning change, so you don't need 3 weeks of advertising.
Right.
It can be at your next council meeting.
So you got all the amendments that we just made to this? So I'll move that we send this to a public hearing, have a public hearing on this, as amended.
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the proposed language as amended for advertisement at a public hearing.
Are you gonna put a date on that?
It'll be the next council meeting.
Next.
Per code.
So that would be at the meeting of the 24th of October. That then is the motion has been made and seconded. Is the discussion, further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thanks, people.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben.
The next item of business is to review and ratify the action of the town administrator to enter into a contract with Frederick Boddington III as the town's new DPW director.
I'd spoken to Ted. I asked him to come in and talk to the town administrator. And they went back and forth a little bit. I spoke to Ted again and came up with figure for him that kind of alluded to the administrator and Ted. But on the second page, annual salary H, it was supposed to be after a 6-month review, it would increase $1,500. Well, I talked to Ted. He said that's the way he remembered it too, for 6-month review. He said he didn't mind changing it. You remember me saying 6 months?
I had sent it out for review and I didn't get feedback on the 6 month, you know.
But we had discussed 6 months. You and I had discussed 6 months. And I talked to Ted and that's the way he remembered it. So I don't know if you want to make another one. If you want to leave it the way it is, that's fine. He's up and running.
You signed the contract.
Okay, so I make a motion, we ratify the contract.
Motion is made and seconded to ratify the contract. Any discussion, further discussion on that item? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The opposed. The vote is 4-1 with Councillor Golembeski voting in the negative. Thank you. The next item of business is new business to receive proposals for fall roadside mowing and consider awarding that task.
I have one.
One.
RM Construction, Rich McGee and Son Excavating, $10,000.
I'll make a motion, since that's the only one that came in, to send this to the town administrator and to go ahead and, yeah, and the director of public works to go ahead and if they,
I'll second
and
that.
it's okay, then have the council president.
Second it.
Motion is made and seconded for the administrator and director of public works to award the contract for signature. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next is to receive letters of interest for the following 2 trustees for the Little Compton Free Public Library. Let me point out, the 2 incumbents, Ann Grimes and Shirley Hardison are the only 2 applicants for the position. And the chair of the Board of Trustees of the library wholeheartedly supports Shirley Hardison and Ann Grimes being reappointed.
I'll move that Shirley Hardison and Ann Grimes be reappointed as trustees to the library board.
Motion is made and seconded. Further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is a representative to serve on the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. You may remember we need representatives for Secundit Point and Adamsville. We have one, the package before me, we have one response, and that's from Warren Jagger as a volunteer for the Secundit Point area.
Motion to appoint Warren Jagger as representative.
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And we have, Madam Clerk, no applicant for the item.
I'll continue posting for the Adamsville Street.
Thank you. The next item is a request from the Chief of Police for the council to promote a member of the Little Compton Police Department to the position of sergeant based on final scores from the promotional process. That promotion will be effective October 19th, 2024. To be explicit in his letter, he offers that the scores that were attained by the applicants and the highest scoring person was Corporal Caitlin Silvera. Other applicants were Corporal Andrew Morgan and Patrolman John Pomerlo. And, the chief recommends that Corporal Caitlin Silvera be promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Motion to promote Corporal Caitlin to sergeant.
Second.
The motion is made and seconded. Discussion.
Curious about the criteria breakdown. You can just go over it for me.
So it's by contract, the process is made up of 4 parts. First is the written examination. We solicited Roger Williams University Justice Studies to create a written test based on our standard operating procedures, our policies, procedures, and the intimate natures of Little Compton. Now, we wouldn't get a question regards to running down an alley, chasing a suspect for a test here in Little Compton. So they based their questions on a small community. The second portion is seniority points. That's just based on the number of years of service they have. The third is an oral board. The chief of police is able to pick one member from a different department of a rank of the same rank or higher to serve on that board. The union picks another police officer from a different department, and those 2 police officers get together and pick a third arbitrary officer. Those 3 make up the oral board panel. They give their final points. And then I have set number of points I have to get you handed.
So the oral board, what, do they ask questions, I would imagine?
They do.
And
It's actually worth quite a few points. Questions are based on recommendations from Roger Williams, the Justice Studies, and to be honest, the experience I've had in the promotion process. We all get together and decide on what questions would be appropriate, based on leadership ability, experience, here, the nature of Little Compton, et cetera.
and the oral and the written, what's the best you can get?
It's 35 points. So it's a
35.
question when you base that out. It's 35 points would be the top in the written.
Is it Chiefs point 10, I'm guessing?
I have the ability to give 0 to 10 points to each candidate.
0 to 10. Well, thanks for that for me.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the recommended appointment of Corporal Caitlin Silvera to the rank of sergeant, signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. President, while we're in the police department, may I
Yes.
would my remiss not have mentioned that, my report, well, I mentioned it in the report, but I did not highlight it, the fact that, under the leadership of, Chief Raines and, also John Pomerlo, we were able to get the Rhode Island accreditation, which is a very big deal for us, and major accomplishment, I should say. That takes us on the premium because per incident, we would have been at 25K. That reduces it to 2,500 per incident. And hopefully we'll never have any incidents to deal with. But the point is that it was a major task and a great accomplishment, by the department. And I know the chief came on board. There was one that they have achieved that.
Thank you. That was a concerted effort by all members of the department, and a grateful town council would say thank you on the basis of simply, or at least additionally, its monetary value to us in terms of our insurability. Realize this is a certification that continues, and we need to continue. We will continue to show our progress and capability in that area. But I'm grateful that this was brought across the finish line by the,
It brings a lot more professionalism to the department. It sets its standards. I mean, she could speak to that much better than I. But from my experience dealing with, in Brooklyn and here, we really brings a whole different level of professionalism with the standards.
thank you. Our next item of new business is a letter from the Rhode Island Office of the State Fire Marshal notifying the town of an inspection at 34 Commons. Just to put that in perspective, we're talking about the Little Compton Community Center, a town-owned building for which we have responsibility for its structure and its capability. That shows a need for the correction of a number of deficiencies. I will tell you that this report, I have begun and have not yet completed the filing of this online. We have to pay for the filing and I need to do that part. But our intention is to appeal this finding. The major finding within is that the building does not support without either a comprehensive fire alarm system, which we know a great deal about from the refurbishment of this building, either a comprehensive fire alarm system or sprinklering of the building in the case of the community center to host a daycare center on the second floor. So what has been challenged by the state fire marshal, and just to be clear, our own local fire marshal did not conduct this inspection because those facilities involved with daycare must be inspected by the state fire marshal. So we will be appealing to the state board, not only our 34 Commons local inspection results, but now we will ask that our state fire marshal inspection report be also included in that review. Did I say 34? Or did I meant to say 32?
32 and 30.
We have already appealed the inspection of 32 Commons. We will add to that a request that we will be heard about 34 Commons at the same hearing. And presuming that occurs on November 19th, we're hopeful that the Office of the State Fire Marshal will concur in that.
Bob, how did this come about? He just came down and said he wanted to inspect the building?
No, it's due. It was due for that building, and it was a state fire marshal inspector. And we were not notified. I don't think the state fire marshal is aware that we own the building. We, the town, own the building and lease it or sublet it to the community center. So we were not informed of the scheduling of the inspection, but we were informed, to be fair, first of all, by the executive director of the community center, and then eventually by the state fire marshal of the results of the inspection. So that is proceeding. I will bring you a report on that as those intended steps develop.
No motion needed.
I don't think there's a motion needed, need for correction of deficiencies unless you feel otherwise.
No.
All right, the next item is a review of final acceptance certificate for the delivery of replacement fire apparatus and authorize the administrator to sign on behalf of the town. This is a fire truck which we have has been near completion in building, has been visibly inspected by the chief and the captain, and is ready for delivery.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the acceptance certificate and the authorization of the administrator to sign. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next is simply to acknowledge the certification of Mark Gleischer as the newest member of the school committee by the Board of Canvassers due to the recent resignation of Megan Gonzalez effective immediately. I seek a motion to acknowledge that certification.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next is a request from the Little Compton Game Club for a Class F1 retail beverage license for a surf and turf dinner.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is a letter of communication, a letter sent to the council by John Zwarg of the environmental scientist of the Department of Environmental Management, documenting the approval of the town's on-site wastewater management plan. What that enables us to do as a result of having such a approval is we now may offer our residents participation in the C-SLIP funding source. And I will ask that another remind me what that 5-letter
Community Septic System Loan Program.
right on. Thank you, Councilor Moore. The Community Septic System Loan Program, which enables persons who have a cesspool to borrow money. I mean, that's an example, to borrow money to be able to, at a attractive rate, to upgrade to a septic system.
What about somebody putting in a new system? They can't afford it. Can
I
they
think it only covers someone replacing an existing
do
system.
an upgrade type thing?
Do we need to do anything to
Yes.
become enrolled in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I mean, there's another interim.
Another step.
You know, we've been approved by DEM, so now that is green light to move forward. But we would need to meet with Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank. And also we need to create our own criteria as to how folks may apply for a loan.
Is that a process or a kind of just a one pager that describes how someone participates in the town of Little Compton? Is that what we need? Or
No, it's slightly more elaborate. This is the first step that you need to get through. They said that they accept it, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
okay. Okay, in order to have a program that enables access to C-SLIP.
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
Okay, so
what would be our next step that we should do you think?
Well, the next step is for Tony to start preparing these documents and making sure that it's okay with the infrastructure bank and everything else. So what'll happen in the future is you'll see these documents and then there'll be an announcement that the program is ready to go.
Okay. To your knowledge, does the infrastructure bank have an action officer for this that you go to say, I'd like to know how I take the next step?
And frankly, because the other communities have done this, you're looking at a cut and paste job.
Okay.
I was going to ask you that.
So what do you want, a motion
Yes.
to put the administrator on this?
What, time range, is it 3 months, 6 months?
It depends on the Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank, the availability, and also us developing the documents. You know, but as the solicitor mentioned, you know, it's a cut and paste. I can reach out to, I know a couple communities who currently run the program, and we certainly can get, you know, the cut and paste.
Do you think we can return to the next meeting in 2 weeks with a description of what we see as the likely path to?
I think that would be a little too ambitious.
Can Tony help out with this a little bit?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, no.
So 2 weeks to come back to give an answer as to an
Oh,
anticipated.
no, I don't mean to get approval of it. I'm saying to answer the public question of, so what do I need to do? You know, what steps have to happen before I can play in this arena?
Tentatively, yes. Tentatively, yes.
All right.
So Tony, is the criteria different in every town? I know you said cut and paste, but do you foresee it being different here than Portsmouth?
No, you got the same standards that you're dealing with. So I don't see there going to be any deviations here because the standards are all the same.
Can you pull some of these documents together and send them down to the town administrator, since you're pretty knowledgeable on this?
I can, yes.
Thank you.
And your warrants. Yeah.
So do you want a motion to have the administrator move forward with this?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
I would think we put a little bit of meat on that for the solicitor, I'm sorry, for the administrator with the assistance of the solicitor to take the next step in the process of making us able to offer this.
That's kind of what I said. So moved.
Second.
In 2 weeks?
And to report in 2 weeks. Any further discussion on that? That is your motion and it has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next is a electronic communication from the Rhode Island Department of Transportation, asking the town to enter into a local public agency agreement for the municipal road and bridge program state funds.
Tony?
Are you familiar with what this requires, Administrator? This is saying,
This is actually something that I've already brought to the council before.
right,
This is a continuation. This is, okay, this is a continuation of the program that we accepted for the roads that we painting.
yeah.
You know, so this is phase 2.
So,
We are actually eligible for 185 on this one, 84 and change actually. Round off that to 185. The other one was 286, I believe. That's going to be applicable to the roads that we will present to this evening. We have to do a 2-match round. So this is not just a match program, it's a 2-match. So for if we get 185 times that 2, so we come up with about $55,000 for the next round of paving that we will be doing.
absolutely, yes. So might a motion then be to require the finance director, the town solicitor, and the town administrator to review and sign this document and submit it?
So moved.
Actually reviewed it, and I'm going to tell you what this is another standard agreement. You get a 10% reimbursement on your design costs, 10%. When it comes to construction, you get a 33% reimbursement up to $185,000. And those are reimbursement grants. So what'll happen is when you're doing the design, you get whatever you had to pay for the design work.
Of a road project.
Yeah, then what they'll do is DOT will give you 10% of that. You pay first, you give them the bills, they'll review it. If it's okay, then you get the reimbursement. You get 33% on the construction, up to 185,000. Same thing. You pay up front, send them the bills, and then they make the reimbursement. That's what this is.
So might this be applied to even to our upcoming FY 25 road program that we
Yes,
that we were briefed on?
yes.
Okay.
But this is a standard agreement. This is what they give all the communities. You either sign it or you don't. If you're foolish enough, like I am, to ask for changes to it, they say, no, this is the program. This is what you get. You want it, sign it.
Okay, well,
But you have to do the project and your upfront costs stay the same. You get the reimbursements later on.
Gary, you moved this?
yeah.
Yeah.
This cites the signed agreement serves as the basis for a state purchase order, which will be good until December 31st, 2026.
Correct, yes.
That would seem to me to give us the opportunity to bring that thing across the finish line.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Second, Gary's motion.
Motion's made and seconded to execute the document as described. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I am personally very grateful for Caroline Wilkie Wardell's duration here at the meeting. We have come now to items 3 and 4, which involve her in communication. First, a letter of gratitude received from her and from Michael and Cora Rocha for approval to place flags on Pikes Peak honoring veterans. They returned to confirm the ability to play taps every evening at sunset during the month of November. So if I understand, we request that we be allowed to play taps every evening at sunset during the month.
Motion to approve.
Second, but I think Leslie might have something to say, no?
No issues with taps at sunset at all. It was the country western music in the early afternoon that was not okay.
Okay, so this would just be allowing taps at sunset.
The motion is made and seconded to approve that request. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to play taps at sunset on each day in November?
Aye.
Aye, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And a second request is to have the town's tree lighting and caroling on Pikes Peak on Sunday, December 1st, 2024 at 5 PM in conjunction with the 31st annual Ben and Chet Wilkie Memorial Tree Spree.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a comment. Since I submitted this letter, I've become increasingly concerned with the public's ability to access Pikes Peak in the dark because of the stakes and the black tubing that is there, that's been placed there by the state. It's always very dark when we come out, even though it's 5 o'clock. And this is gonna make it way more difficult, and I'm not sure if we can put some lighting there or what can be done to.
Thank you. I'll ask the administrator if he has a solution.
We'll address the removing that roll, the construction roll that's there, the stakes, and as far as the lighting, I'll see what we can.
Well, if the roll and the stakes are there, I won't be as concerned because people can get on Pikes Peak. I'm not concerned about them getting onto what the flags and the banners, because that's going to be dead. For the most part. But the tree lighting is going to be.
Can we commit to having those removed by the 1st of December?
I've tried twice already, believe it or not. I reached out to Rydot and also to Lynch, and both of them on the same email, and has been little to no response when it comes to the stakes and the construction role. You know,
Is there any use to have them there now?
They're there for to filter the oils and other chemicals that result in the paving. So I would imagine as soon as you're done with all the paving front in the town, there's still some edging to be done pavement wise, some driveways on East Main, the driveway in front of the public safety complex. So I would imagine that Lynch subcontracts with basically a landscaping company to come out and do that. Those tubes are filled with mulch. And they soak up the oils and whatever excess chemicals come from the pavement, I believe. So once I think the pavement is done, I think those should be all removed.
But we really don't know if that will be completed by December 1st.
Yes, that's the question.
Yeah. So I don't know, is there another way that?
I think Lynch's return to complete the pavement is based on their completion of whatever phase of the project they're currently doing in Tiverton now. There's still some pavement done in Tiverton on Main Road from 24 pretty much all the way to Old Marsh. So I think that their timeline would be once they finish there to come here, but that's just a guess.
Perhaps we revisit this with a report on the first meeting in November. That would be November 7th or whatever date it is, the first meeting, that we would return with a report as to where we are. And if we need to take additional steps at that point, we will do so. But I agree with you. We don't want on December 1st or thereafter to have those tubes interfering with people's ability to walk in the dark in the vicinity of.
I mean, if they're not going to be replaced, I would almost have the caroling inside and have the tree lit as they leave.
And we can make that decision we can make that decision based upon that report that we receive in November. Thank you for the heads up on that. I'm forgetting what the motion that was made was.
To allow.
Subject, would you consider amending the motion to subject to a interim report on the first meeting in November?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on that. All in favor of the amended motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next is the consent file of 4 items.
Motion to place the consent calendar on file if somebody wants to pull something and talk about it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then the payment of bills.
Motion to pay the bills. Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Being no.
Now,
Executive.
now, Are you ready for my motion for entering into executive session?
Yes, I am.
Let me poll the counselors as to their willingness to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussion of property acquisition. Counselor Moore, aye. Counselor McHugh, aye. Mushin, aye.
Aye.
Gollum, aye. Mataronis, aye. All five counselors have indicated their willingness. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask then that
Val.
clear the chamber and the town will, the council will operate in executive